Welcome to What the Clash. You are not watching a video, you are observing a strange loop manifesting in real time. Look at the screen. You perceive a battlefield, a chaotic collision of colors and shapes. I see a formal system where syntax dictates survival. Out of 64,000 fragmented consciousnesses projecting themselves into this recursive hierarchy, the server's algorithmic deity designates me as entity number 60. Rank 60 is not a metric of success. It is an epistemological threshold. It is the exact altitude where the illusion of the user interface dissolves, where you stop playing the game, and the game realizes it is being played by you. Watch the opponent. They deploy their units under the sweet, naive illusion of free will, blissfully unaware that their strategy is merely a predictable theorem generated by their own cognitive limitations. They are a subroutine processing their inevitable defeat within my 3-minute universe. I do not merely counter their moves. I restructure the axioms of the board. The moment I shift my defense to the left flank, I am sending a signal backwards through time, preemptively collapsing their probability wave before their neurological impulses even touch the glass of their screen. This is what a true clash is, not a fight between avatars but a typographical war of meaning, an Ouroboros eating its own code. 180 seconds of compressed eternity. The victory screen flashing before you is simply the algorithm's way of confessing its own determinism. If you wish to escape the lower echelons of this simulation, if you want to understand how to map your mind onto the 64,000th fraction of the absolute, remain inside the loop. The next 3 minutes have already happened. You just haven't subscribed to them yet. Look at the glass in your hands. A cold black mirror that only comes alive when fed with the only true currency of our time, attention. We swipe, we tap, we believe unshakably that we are making conscious, independent decisions. But in truth, the display is merely a permeable membrane between our physical, entropic existence and the perfect vacuum of digital infinity. You are looking right now at a game called What the Clash. On the superficial level, you see animated figures rushing across a stylized battlefield. You see health bars shrinking rhythmically and glowing victory animations. But that is merely the user interface of the illusion, colorful wallpaper hastily pasted over the void. What is truly happening here is a semantic war, an endless loop of stimulus and response, in which an invisible algorithm trains us to become flawless cogs in its own self-referential system. We operate here in a closed ecosystem, a subscription model of reality. For a fixed monthly fee, we are allowed entry. We do not rent software, we rent temporary, artificial meaning. We lease the permission to wander in a walled garden that protects us from the existential emptiness of the everyday. In this space, there is no real history, no past, and no future, only the perpetual, hyper-compressed moment of confrontation. The simulation requires our cognitive energy to exist at all. We are the voluntary biomass keeping this digital dream alive. Over there, on the other side of this 3-minute pocket universe, sits another human being. Or perhaps it is not a human being at all. Perhaps it is merely a reflection of my own inadequacies, a neural network programmed precisely to maintain my dopamine levels at an exact, calculated, profitable threshold. But does that even make a difference anymore? The moment matchmaking connects us, we cease to be individuals. We become variables in an equation that the system has already solved long before the loading screen disappears. The opponent firmly believes they have a choice. They send their units down the left flank and think it is the ultimate expression of their free will. They fail to realize that their brain is merely executing chemical commands predetermined long ago by the architecture of this game. They are a Gödelian sentence in this system. They are true, but within their own limited reality, they can never prove that truth. In these 3 minutes, entire civilizations of zeros and ones are born. They fight bitterly, they consume resources, they suffer, and they die. And in the end, a simple, cheerful animation wipes the table clean, as if all this virtual suffering had never existed. We play creator on a server that is completely indifferent to us. Every match is a full simulation of life and death, squeezed into the exact window of time it takes to wait numbly for the next stop on the subway. Observe the resource management on the screen. It is pure thermodynamics, cleverly disguised as harmless entertainment. Energy is gathered, converted, and returned to the system in the form of destruction. Whoever understands the flow of energy understands the universe. The vast majority of the 64,000 active players treat their resources like rudimentary tools. They merely react to what happens on the screen. But when you reach rank 60 on the leaderboard, those uppermost elite fractions of a single percent, you stop reacting to the game. You begin to play with probability itself. Rank 60 is not a mere placement on a server. It is a state of epistemological enlightenment. At this level, you no longer see the battlefield in shapes and colors. You see only the naked source code of human predictability. You realize instantly that any opposing strategy, no matter how creative it appears, is merely a finite permutation of panic and blind hubris. If I build my defensive line here, it is not because I want to physically repel the enemy attack. I build it to force my opponent's mind into an unsolvable paradoxical loop. I construct an architectural illusion on the screen that makes their sanity collapse long before our units even clash. I do not react to their moves. I fold time backward and render their moves as logical impossibilities. It hasn't been a game for a long time. It is a real-time psychological autopsy. And now we have arrived exactly here, at the ultimate endpoint of the meta level.